Hey, Policy Council members. My name is Jeff Goldammer, and I'm a longtime employee with the Head Start program. And with me today is
Lisa Harner, the Early Head Start Director, newly elected.
So we're here today to give you a taste of what the Policy Council is all about. And I know that Lisa and I both want to thank you for serving on the Policy Council. It means so much to our program, and it's great that you want to be involved in your child's education and also in the operation of the program. So thank you very much. Now, if you don't have your Policy Council manual handy, you might want to pause the video and go get it and follow along as we go through it, because that's what we're going to do, is just kind of give you an overview of the Policy Council manual. And even though it's an overview, all the details are definitely in your Policy Council manual. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go ahead and get started. So hopefully everybody can see that. Can you see it, Lisa?
I can see it.
Okay, great. So again, welcome to the Policy Council. And one thing I do want to let you know is that the Head Start and Early Head Start program is actually part of Economic Security Corporation, which is a local nonprofit that operates programs to provide assistance to people. So if you hear Economic Security Corporation, you know that is the parent corporation for Head Start and Early Head Start, and we're part of ESC. Now, also in your policy manual, there are multiple ways for you to get in contact with us: Facebook page, website, and phone number. And also on the bottom of page 4, you'll see Lisa's name and her phone number and email address as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Well, congratulations. You're now part of the Head Start governance structure. So the agency has a governing board, which is led by our CEO, John Joynes. The Head Start Policy Council will elect a president, and you were elected by parent groups at your centers. Jeff and I report to the Policy Council, and we also report to the agency director, John Joynes.
Thanks, Lisa. So when we talk about what the overall goals of our Head Start and Early Head Start program are, there's really 4 main goals, and you'll find them at the top of page 6. And they are that we want to help children get ready for school. We want to help families be ready to engage in their child's education. We want to make positive ways for the community to invest in the program. And we want to make sure that our program has the capacity to support these 3 other goals. So everything that we do in the Head Start should be related to one of these goals. And I just want to point out to you that, yes, when you think of Head Start, you think of children, but families are right there next to them. And we really focus a lot on the families as well. And the parents are so important. And so when people think about the Head Start program, a lot of times they think about the children, but it's more than just serving children in a classroom. We do so much more. We have a focus on the whole child. So you're going to learn that we have health activities, nutrition activities, of course, parent engagement activities, and so much more. Head Start is what is called a comprehensive program. And so I'm going to ask Lisa now to just tell you a little bit more about the program.
Well, Head Start started over 50 years ago. And back then, the U.S. made a promise for children and families in our nation. Children who were considered at risk, maybe due to income, health, nutrition, or another family circumstance, the guarantee was that we were going to make sure that those children were ready for kindergarten. In addition, it is our responsibility to make sure that medical care, dental care, and good nutrition are addressed for those children as well. And as Jeff mentioned, working in partnership with parents to help them realize their role as their child's first and best teacher is first and foremost. Research has shown that for every dollar spent on Head Start, our country saves $7 on other assistance programs. And studies have also shown that Head Start children perform equal to or better than their peers when they enter school. And there's fewer grade retention and special class placements for Head Start children. So that's a little about Head Start. What about Early Head Start? Well, Early Head Start started back in 1995 And the focus was on 0 to 3 because also back during that time, there was a lot of information happening regarding brain research and just how important quality early childhood programs are even to young children. So our agency does offer Early Head Start, and we have several program options. We have a home-based option where families are visited weekly, and during those visits, they receive information on prenatal and child development information through parent-child activities. So it's good fun. In addition, parents can receive referrals, advice, connections to community resources. If you're a parent who's working or going to school full-time, we also operate classrooms in several different locations in our 4 counties. We also partner with child care providers in our community. In the partnership, the benefit of that is that every child in that location benefits from our partnership, not just the early Head Start children that are placed there.
So on page 10, the answer to the question that everybody wants to know is, does Head Start work? And so page 10 is just, I think, a list of 16 different little research bites on studies that have been done on Head Start over the years that talks about the positive outcomes related to the Head Start and Early Head Start program. So I won't go into any of these in particular today, but just take comfort in knowing when your child's enrolled in Head Start or Early Head Start, they are part of one of the most researched programs in our country. And the research findings always show that children in Head Start and Early Head Start learn and are ready for school. So connected to being ready for school, parents also wonder, how is my child doing? And so in our Head Start program, we use a research-based process to assess your child's school readiness skills. And throughout the year, you're going to receive updates and information on how you can help. So your teacher and your family resource specialist will be talking to you about how is your child doing. And we use something called the Early Learning Outcomes Framework that focuses on important domains that children need for school readiness. On page 12 of the manual, you'll see a Policy Council job description. And again, you can read more about that. It lists all of the duties that you have as a Policy Council member, but I've highlighted just a couple, and they're pretty simple. Attend. If you're not at the meeting, you don't have a voice. And so we hope that you'll attend the meetings and that you'll prepare for the meetings. We'll send out a packet of information ahead of time for you to look over. And if you have questions, we'll be happy to answer those either before the meeting or during the meeting. And then last but not least, just participate. We always have important decisions at the Policy Council, and we need you to ask questions. If you're not sure, we need you to understand, and we need you to take votes so that we have the direction we need to operate the program. There's many, many more important duties on this list.
Well, as we talked about, you are part of our governance structure now because you're part of our Policy Council. There's an important triad that involves the Policy Council, the governing board, and then management staff. And we're all working together to provide leadership and strategic direction for the program. In particular, the Head Start Policy Council does assume responsibility for the Head Start program. You'll be approving and submitting to the governing body decisions revolving around activities for parent involvement, our program recruitment, selection, and enrollment priorities. You'll be helping to approve our funding applications, and you'll be a huge part of the budget planning. You're going to receive monthly reports from us. You'll receive special periodic reports on different areas such as school readiness, nutrition, health information, and you'll receive annual reports like our self-assessment. So you're thinking about these Policy Council meetings and wondering, what is it going to be like? Well, our meetings are easy, they're fun, they're interactive, so don't worry. Nobody makes mistakes. We're all learning together. So just some basic things to remember for the meetings. We typically cover one subject at a time, and we'll, if it's something that needs to be approved, we'll go through the process of approval. We'll walk you through it, so no need to worry. If you don't know something or you want to know something, please ask. There's probably somebody else who wants to know the same thing. It is the majority that make the decisions, so everybody's opinions count and will be part of the voting process. Policy council members should always decide what's best for the entire program. So we may be discussing one center. We might have to talk about possibly closing a center, and we have to keep in mind that we're doing what's best for the entire program, not just one location. Some things to do, since we're going to be virtual, is maybe send your a question or a request in to the chairperson through chat if you want to be recognized so everybody can hear you speak. And then, of course, we want to listen to everybody else's comments and thoughts, because we can't make informed decisions unless everybody is a part of the process.
So the next section in the manual are the bylaws of the Policy Council. And I know it's almost like when you say the word bylaws, it puts people to sleep. But we're not going to go through these in great detail, but just think of the bylaws as the instruction manual for the Policy Council. And so there may be times during the year when we have to refer back to it. But for now, I just want to point out on page 15, there is a section that says if you are related to anyone who works in the program, you are not able to serve on the Policy Council, and that's so that we can avoid conflicts of interest. So if you are related to someone that works in the program, please contact Lisa or I, and we'll talk to you and see if it's an issue, if it's a close enough relationship. And then also, Lisa touched on this, but on page 16, there's a whole section about the powers and responsibilities of the Policy Council. Things like approving grant applications, approving staff, and deciding who gets priority to be served in the program. And then on page 17, we do have several offices that we'll have an election for. We have a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a board liaison. And so we'll be having an election for those openings in one of our first couple meetings. And then right behind the bylaws is something called the Standards of Fiscal Conduct. Head Start is about a $12 million operation. So it's a big business, if you will, and it's using taxpayer money. So we are very serious about having transparency and strong fiscal operations. And as a Policy Council member, you're actually a representative of the agency. So you have some responsibilities too. For example, if you see something that you think is a conflict of interest, or if you have a concern about how we're handling our finances, please contact Lisa or I so that we can check it out, provide an explanation, or correct it if it is indeed a problem. And then also, you have a responsibility as a Policy Council member for confidentiality. There may be things that we discuss in meetings sometimes that we need to have you keep confidential for one reason or another. And when that happens, we will explain that ahead of time and make sure that everybody understands why it has to be confidential and for how long it has to be confidential. And then on page 20, there is a policy for resolving disputes or impasses between Policy Council and the board, since both are involved in the operation of the program. And on the page following that is a process for how people in the community can have grievances aired regarding the program. Both of those policies are responsibilities for this group to approve. And then we get to something everybody is concerned about, and that is who gets enrolled in our program, who gets picked to be in a Head Start or Early Head Start. And I'll turn it over to Lisa for that.
So in order to select children with the most need, we ask the Policy Council members to help us establish the criteria that helps us organize our waiting list. So we look at many, many items when a family applies for the program. As you can see here, there's several items with points assigned to them. We look at income, we look at parental status, items that make families or children at risk. And in particular this year, we looked at items related to COVID. For example, housing changes, employment changes, possible hospitalization for a caregiver, and the use of community food assistance programs. We also look at the education levels of the caregivers in the home. We look at ages of the children. We want to make sure we give children the most opportunity and the longest amount of time they can have in the program for early Head Start. And for Head Start, we want to make sure we grab those 4-year-olds before they go to kindergarten, just to help them and make sure they're ready.
Thanks, Lisa. So on page 23 of your manual is a section that you may have seen before. It's part of our parent orientation, but we've included it in your policy council manual just so that you have access to it easily. As a policy council member, parents may ask you questions. And so we want you to have this information handy as a reference. And the first item on here is just about child abuse and neglect reporting. You know, everyone involved in the Head Start program is a mandated reporter. So reporting child abuse is everyone's responsibility. But then it goes on to include information about our health policies and procedures. It has information, again, about our dress code when you're volunteering in the program, what our behavior policy is for the children. It also includes information about mealtime, outdoor play, safety drills, and of course, safety on the bus. So we've just included this information for you to have another reference, another handy reference in case you have questions about them yourself or in case other parents ask you questions. And then as we get ready to finish this up, I'm going to ask Lisa to talk about the standards of conduct.
Okay. So all staff members, all volunteers, all consultants are asked to sign the standards of conduct. We want to make sure that everybody understands the expectations for everyone who works with children and families in our program. Some items I in particular want to highlight are that we will respect and promote the unique identity of each family and each child. We're going to treat every child, parent, coworker, and volunteer with respect and dignity. We will not maltreat or endanger the health or safety of children. And we're going to make a concerted effort to welcome parents to the Head Start Center and provide them with a variety of opportunities to become involved in our program. Our program is nothing without the parents and children. So we want to emphasize the importance of being respectful to all families in our program. There's a sheet included for you to sign. It's called Our Volunteers Brighten Lives. It's just one page. And if you would sign that and provide that to your home visitor, FRS, or family advocate, they'd be more than willing to turn that in for you.
Thanks, Lisa. And I just want to add a note about COVID-19. Of course, you know, we're still in the middle of the pandemic as we record this. And by now, you've probably seen that our Head Start program is using what's called a layered approach. So we do have staff and children in masks. We have several things going on regarding ventilation to bring fresh air into the classrooms. Of course, we're doing our normal cleaning and disinfecting. We have children in small groups that don't mix with other groups. And of course, we're screening guests and employees who come into the center. So, you know, hopefully we will be done with this at some time during the year, but if not, we're always open to answer any questions about why we're doing this and what we're doing. And again, we're just hoping to keep children and staff safe so that we can have an uninterrupted school year so that the kids get the biggest benefit possible out of the program. And so as I finish up my part, I just want to again say thank you so much for agreeing to serve on the Policy Council. I'm really looking forward to working with you this year. This is a great program, and we're so happy that you're part of it. And I'll turn it over to Lisa to wrap it up.
Yes, we hope you guys really enjoy your time on the Policy Council this year. We're looking forward to sharing lots of information with you. We'll have lots of guest speakers and people talking about what's happening in the program and all the exciting things that your children and you yourself will be a part of. Thanks again for being a part of Policy Council.